Donald Trump's allies are publicly airing their frustrations over his debate performance, his overall messaging, and where, or more accurately, who that messaging may be coming from. The latest example, a right-wing influencer and conspiracy theorist named Laura Loomer, who traveled with Trump on his plane to Tuesday's debate and made an appearance in the spin room. Loomer, who has called 9/11 an inside job, also accompanied the former president to 9/11 commemorations yesterday. As The Atlantic puts it, it takes a unique kind of vulgarity to bring a 9/11 truther to events marking the anniversary of the September 11th attacks. NBC's Vaughn Hilliard is following the Trump campaign on the ground in Arizona. Brendan Buck is back with me. You know, Brendan, we've been speaking like this for a very long time. I often ask the question, when Republicans have expressed concern, when they're worried about something Trump says, who will he listen to? Who can have his ear? Who can talk to him? Do we have the answer?
We sure do. And it seems to be getting crazier and crazier. Look, I remember negotiations when I was on the Hill working for Speaker Ryan, and we're trying to break through something, and the president wanted to talk to the speaker, and you get on the phone, and there's a Fox News personality, surprisingly, on the line with them. And it was just sort of how things go. But now we're into a whole new level. Look, we've talked a lot about how potentially this Trump campaign is more disciplined than previous iterations. I think we can throw that all out the window. I mean, this person has a very tenuous grasp with reality, and it is clearly the type of person he wants to be surrounding himself with. At the same time, I don't want to make any excuses for Donald Trump. I mean, he has agency here. He is the person who is surrounding himself with these people, and it just reflects incredibly, not just poorly, it's disturbing that you would identify and allow someone like this near your candidate or near you, and you want to be the president of the United States. It's outrageous. But, you know, it's easy to just sort of roll your eyes at this and be like, oh, I guess this is another day with Donald Trump. But it is on its face absolutely ludicrous.
Vaughn, you were covering Trump's visit to New York yesterday. So give us a little bit of the background on Laura Loomer and how she fits into the big picture of who does have his ear and who and what he's choosing to focus on.
Right, Chris. You know, I think that it was something to behold, the fact that Laura Loomer was at the 9/11 ceremonies there in New York, but in Pennsylvania, because we knew that she was on the plane with him there to Philadelphia at the debate. But at that point in time, let's be very clear, you could argue that she's America's preeminent conspiracy theorist. And I did not know that she was a 9/11 truther, but as soon as I saw her there at the events in New York, it took but just a little research to find out that, yes, in fact, she's also somebody who just last year posted about 9/11 being an inside job. But she's also very incendiary. Outside of the conspiracy theories, during the Democratic National Convention, she called a particular Democratic member of Congress who spoke from the stage ghetto. When Tim Walz was speaking about his family and his family's fertility issues, she literally posted, quote, "Your daughter was a mistake. Nobody cares about your fertility issues." So it's more than conspiracy theories, but it's a meanness and incendiary, derogative, racist, xenophobic remarks that she has a penchant to make on almost a daily basis that I think has raised the concerns among Trump allies over the course of the last year, and even the likes of Marjorie Taylor Greene, who has called her mentally unstable and somebody that hurts the reputation of MAGA and Donald Trump. As to Donald Trump's debate performance, Chris, I think we have a soundbite from somebody that I talked to just outside of this event here in Tucson, where he's supposed to speak soon about how he performed. And I'll just let you, her name is Crimson, I'll let you hear her own analysis. Take a listen. What did you think about Donald Trump's performance?
It wasn't my favorite of his performances. I'm a huge Donald Trump supporter, clearly going to vote for him. I think he referred back to the border a bit too much instead of moving forward with some of the questions. Again, we want the border to be in southern Arizona. We care about the border. But I think that looked bad on him. And, of course, the dog, eating the dogs up north looked bad on him. But other than that, I thought he did okay.
So, Chris, these were a few conversations of, it's not just, Republican operatives or allies who had concerns, or the likes of Robert F. Kennedy Jr. about Donald Trump's debate and ability to win over independent voters, but also some of his own supporters here who wish that he had had a more focused message that particularly focused on ideas of the economy and the housing crisis, which is how the campaign is billed this afternoon's event. So we'll see how Donald Trump here on this Western campaign swing ultimately the words that come out of his mouth from stages like this, he'll be in Battleground Nevada tomorrow night, Chris.
So, Brendan, we just talked about Marjorie Taylor Greene. She has overall now been criticizing Trump fans' messaging. This is her today.
And I think that we need to be focused on our policies, the inflation, the economy, and the border, and not attacking people for their race, not attacking them because they may not have children and they love their pets. And I don't want to have anything to do with that.
So I wonder if you've lost even Marjorie Taylor Greene. Is that a sign your messaging may be off?
I mean, yeah. Well, I think what you have here is a Trump, someone who's a little jealous that she was not on the plane. I have a hard time taking Marjorie Taylor Greene very seriously, and I don't want to give her too much credit for being the voice of reason in the Republican Party, because she is no stranger to conspiracy theories herself. So put her aside. But, you know, the woman outside the event being concerned about Trump talking about people eating dogs. You wonder how that gets in his head when he's literally flying to the debate with a conspiracy theorist. Things aren't going to get any better if this is the people who are surrounding him. But the fact that this is the conversation that the Republican Party is having less than 2 months before an election is a really depressing sign for where we've come.